From Atlanta, Georgia, welcome to Fearfully and Wonderfully Me, a podcast for women on leadership and life skills with Rhea Story. Rhea shares powerful life and leadership principles, helping you maximize your potential and become the woman God created you to be.
Hello, everyone. Today's lesson is on achievement, and it's one of the topics that I'm most passionate about, so I'm really excited to dig into today's episode. Mac and I have just finished up an entire week of leadership training and development sessions out in San Diego for the U.S. Navy, and we did 10 training sessions with about 30 people in each session over the course of the week. So it was a phenomenal opportunity to dig into some leadership principles, but it's also one of the things that we really appreciate is the opportunity to give back to those who have volunteered to serve our country. So it was both the veterans and the enlisted military personnel, as well as some civilian contractors. So we had a really diverse group in each session. But one of the things that we were talking about and teaching on was the mindset of looking at how we look at failure, how we perceive failure. Because here's the thing. All of the college courses that I've ever taken, or probably any course that you've ever taken, none of them taught me how to be successful. None of them taught me how to achieve something. It's not something that my parents taught me, and probably your parents didn't teach you either. You know, it's not something that we learn on the job or in skills training, how to actually achieve success or significance in life. So, you know, I'm so passionate about this. It was actually the title of my very first book, which is out of print now. But I'm actually releasing an expanded edition, probably releasing this week or perhaps the first week of September. So releasing in just a couple of weeks. And the title of it is Achieve, Maximize Your Potential with 7 Keys to Unlock Success and Significance. Because I really think that this is a gap, that we don't talk about this, that we don't teach others how to be successful, how to achieve goals and hopes and dreams. We all have them, you know, whether it's big dreams and life goals or just New Year's resolutions, or maybe just career goals. Achievement is something that we all strive for, but it's not something that we really are taught or how to learn how to achieve. So, you know, I've been blessed to have some wonderful people in my life that were able to help me learn some really hard lessons. I've had great role models that showed me what to do, and I've had some role models that showed me what not to do throughout life and experience. So, but putting it all together requires us to be intentional about setting and achieving, you know, not just our daily to-do list, but our weekly goals, our life dreams, our vision of what we want our life to look for. And what I'm really talking about is, you know, it's a quality of self-leadership. And I talked about that in a recent podcast. So I like to break down the word achieve as an acronym. And I think these are really the 7 key principles that help us be successful in life. A stands for attitude. C stands for choices. H stands for humility. I stands for integrity. E stands for energy. V stands for vision. And E, the final E, stands for excellence. You know, achievement is not just something that we do. It's something that we are. It's a state of being, not just a state of doing. And I think breaking down those success principles, they will help you unlock your potential to be successful in your own life and perhaps significant in the lives of others. But here's the thing, knowledge by itself is not enough. You know, it's not just that we know what to do, it's actually applying the principles. The greatest gap in the world is the gap between what we know and what we actually do. You know, I use the analogy all the time of we all know we should drink 8 glasses of water a day and we should exercise 3 times a week, but not all of us actually do it. You know, it's actually applying the principles to our life that help us achieve. And, you know, it requires dedication. Success and achievement require dedication and hard work, and it's not glamorous. There's no one quick fix or magic bullet that just says, oh, let me check the box and then I'll be successful in life. And it's important to keep in mind that we must continually work for it. If we just achieve one goal in our life and we simply stop, we start to stagnate. So the key here is to be growth oriented instead of goal oriented. Growth is a continually improving mindset. Instead of goal oriented means I reach the goal and I stop. Standing still in life is not really an option. Life is going to move on regardless of how we feel about it. Time goes on and we can't change it. We simply have to learn to move forward and to adjust. Achievement or success in life, it's kind of like fitness. No one gets there accidentally. No one ever climbed to the top of Mount Everest accidentally. You look at some great achievers in history. Because I love to hear the stories of people who've overcome something. And I think there are so many valuable lessons when we study excellent or great people and what they do. Diana Nyad swam from Cuba to Florida with no shark cage, and it was an incredible accomplishment, and she trained for so many dedicated hours. Thomas Edison is famous for creating the light bulb, but only after thousands of unsuccessful attempts. Team Hoyt, the father-son team, biked and ran across the United States in 45 days, and that was absolutely not an accident. So, what I'm really talking about here is that we can learn from our unsuccessful attempts and we can learn from our failures in life, and that helps us become more successful. So it's a mindset of looking at our failures and saying those don't have to define me. They can help me learn and they can help me be more successful in the future if I'm willing to learn the lesson that failure teaches me. Challenges and failures help us because they help us learn how to be more successful. And it's a fact that we will fall, we will fail at times, but it's really only failure if we quit trying. If we're willing to get back up and try again, it's not failure. It's simply the learning process that each and every one of us come, pre-programmed to be able to learn from. And when we convert our failures in life into lessons, they become positive experiences and they provide us with valuable insights. We can choose to learn the lesson and benefit from it. Although I know sometimes that can be difficult, but it's so much better to learn the lesson than to repeat the mistake again. I think it really comes down to those 7 key principles. And, it's interesting. Andy Stanley said, what we believe determines how we behave. When we believe that our failures define us as a failure, we tend to look at them as roadblocks and we stop, we quit, we detour, we quit trying. When we believe that those failures, quote unquote, are learning opportunities, it changes our behavior into a growth mindset that says, I know there's a lesson here, I simply have to learn it. So, it really is a mindset shift because our attitude creates perspective. Our attitude towards failure and success creates the perspective that allows us to frame the experience in life. And if we frame it, we can frame it in a positive frame or we can frame it in a negative frame. And I talk about that a lot, the choice to see something as positive or negative. And it really is applying that positive mindset to our successes and our failures in life. When we are successful, it doesn't mean we stop there. We don't rest there. I once heard John Maxwell talk about whatever happens, good or bad, he has a 24-hour rule. If he has a great success and a major win, he celebrates for 24 hours. If he has a loss or a failure or makes a mistake, he gives himself 24 hours to get over it. And then he moves on. He says, you know what, I'm not going to let it continue to haunt the rest of the future. And I think there's a lesson to be learned from that. Celebrate successes and wins, absolutely. But don't stop there. Don't get so complacent in the success that you quit looking for the next milestone. And that's the difference between being growth oriented. Carol Dweck has some some really fascinating points on this in her book. And maybe that's an option or something to share for a future podcast, because I really think she's got some really good principles on the difference in our fixed mindset versus a growth mindset. So, achievement, it is something that we are, and it really comes down to those 7 key principles that help us, because that's what leading ourselves is all about. Now, the thing about it is, when we are more effective at leading ourselves, we're more effective at influencing others. And I think it comes down to those 7 fundamental principles. Attitude's got to be positive. Choices, they make or break us. Humility. Warden Kane, prison warden of Angola prison, said you got to be humble so you don't stumble. Integrity, it requires a commitment and congruency, but integrity helps us build trust with others. Energy gives us the ability to carry out whatever we're striving for. We've got to have energy to do it. Physically, mentally, emotionally, there has to be energy coming in so that we have energy to give out. And vision. If we don't know where we're going, we'll end up somewhere else. And then excellence. Nobody gets excited about average. Nobody gets excited about mediocre. And learning to be excellent will set you far and apart, far above and beyond the other average achievers out there. So, until next time.
Start increasing your influence and maximizing your potential with Ria's audiobooks. Available at audible.com, amazon.com, and iBooks. Please visit riastory.com to learn about Ria's books, resources, speaking, and training programs. Thanks for listening.